Bitch, my beard. What an impressive creature. I mean, really.
I mean, how can you not adore her?
Oh, look how tough you are. He was loading the cannon. She is a problem child. She's spicy. All right, everybody, here we are today at Busch Wildlife Sanctuary with my good friend Amy, who takes care of the coolest Florida native wildlife there is. And today, what are we gonna do, Amy?
Well, I understand you want to see some of our largest apex predators that we have here. So I figured we'll go visit our panther, check out the bears, see if the bobcats want to hang out with us a little bit, maybe an alligator. And
get a nice up-close, behind-the-scenes tour of some of the coolest native predators that Florida has to offer.
Absolutely, why not?
Let's do it.
All right. So we are in our bobcat habitat. Of course, he's a cat, so you never know how cats are going to do.
Right, he's either going to be adorable or a total jerk.
Come say hi. If he does like you, though, his favorite thing to do is pee on you.
Of course, so, yeah, that adds up.
Porter.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
I know. He was loading the cannon.
He automatically likes you,
He was
though,
loading the cannon.
So, of course, your predators out in the wild, this should not be how they behave.
Right.
This is a cat who's been raised in captivity.
I'm not getting the cannon, bud.
Unfortunately, we got 3 kittens in that still had their umbilical cord attached.
Oh my goodness.
Because the people in the neighborhood had noticed seeing a bobcat out more frequently, so obviously they thought this was a problem. They illegally trapped the animal, removed the animal from the area, took it out into the woods where they felt would be better for it, not realizing the reason they were seeing it is it was a mom and she was trying to eat enough to feed her babies. Of
course.
So they end up orphaning these 3. Being that they're a predator, you can't really give them to another bobcat to raise.
Of course
it's not in their DNA, so to speak.
Yep.
And so they came into us when they were just itty bitty little things, and they've been a part of our ambassador program. They actually just turned 10 about 2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty old for a bobcat. They're like max age of 12, right?
Actually, in captivity, you can get quite far beyond that. The oldest one we've ever had was Jasper, who hit his 24th birthday before we lost him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, well I'm way off.
He was fantastic. He was just one of the best ambassador animals ever. So 10 years old, they're considered middle age. You know, we've got one here who's about 18, Baston, and then we have 2 that are younger. So we have, you know, our nursing home cat, our middle-aged cat.
Oh, he loves
He's my buddy.
Amy, for me, there are 2 animals in North America that are so poorly vilified, or so misunderstood is probably the right way to say it. And it's the bobcat and the coyote. People are scared of bobcats and coyotes, which is utterly ridiculous.
I agree.
Utterly ridiculous. I don't care who sees this or what you have to say out there. It is utterly ridiculous. There is not a single coyote, there's not a single healthy bobcat in the world that wants to have anything to do with a person.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah. All right, should we go see some bigger predators?
Sure, why not? So I know you like reptiles, right? You're the reptile guy. You like to play with the stuff that'll kill you, don't you?
A
Little bit? All right. So here's our stuff. This is one of the few things.
I like that you took me straight to the reptile house.
I take you straight to the back door,
That's
you know?
smart.
Hey.
Hey, you.
Don't get hurt. We don't have insurance.
No, that's okay. Neither do I. Just kidding. I'm gonna move this out for a second.
Absolutely. Take out whatever makes you comfortable. This particular snake kept making its way into people's tents.
Oh my goodness.
Not quite sure why, but after a few times of relocating it from that area and it finding its way back, state of Florida was like, you know what, we're not gonna do this again. So they asked if we would take it. I'm like, great, you're gonna give me the problem child.
I'm actually surprised. She is a problem child. She's spicy.
She is a problem child. She is spicy. And she's only half as spicy as my cottonmouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I totally anticipated, you know, a captive animal.
This is a spicy one.
Yeah, she's
I'm just testing your skills.
Hook, actually. No, I like that.
Let's
Let's make it harder. I wasn't expecting her to be so
no, she's not
hot.
right out.
Yeah, come on.
She's an ornery one.
Not by my feet, please.
No, because by my feet.
Not by Amy's feet either, please.
This is where I always wear steel toe.
Yeah, that's actually smart. I'm cornered now. These are the largest rattlesnakes in the country. And such a beautiful animal. I'm gonna move around here. Come on, you.
And you can see ours is a little bit on the larger side.
Yeah.
You know, this is a captive snake, so it doesn't roam looking for food like the wild ones do. And of course, we do have a very standard feeding schedule.
When did she get fed?
Once a week. We feed every Friday.
Okay.
And she usually eats 2 to 3 medium rats.
Yep. They're such impressive snakes. They really are.
There you go. Just sit and chill, Bubba.
Yeah. Such an animal that's been persecuted. The eastern diamondback in particular. You know, where I live in California, we have a lot of species of rattlesnake. I think just in my area, well, not my direct area, but south of me, there's 6 species of rattlesnake. And people are more accustomed to them, they're more used to them. But here, you guys only have a couple, And the second anybody sees a large eastern, they get their head chopped off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't even have to be an eastern. People so often get them confused, like the most popular snake, or the most populated, I should say, snake here being rat snakes.
Right.
So people see that, that kind of diamondy shaped pattern on the back of the red rat snakes, and they immediately kill it, and then they bring it to us to identify.
Oh, great.
And it's like, please, like, this is what technology comes in. Take a picture, take a video,
just leave it alone.
text it to us. Like, let's use this as a teaching moment.
I was talking with a buddy. He's a biologist in the state of Florida, and I just learned about this, but these snakes have been so heavily persecuted that the genetics, similar to like what's happened with 100-pound tuskers, the elephants, the genetics have been impacted. So the giant eastern diamondbacks that used to get like 9-10 feet long don't really exist anymore. The genetics have been almost entirely removed from the gene pool because so many big, first of all, if they're that big, they're old, they're slow, and they had these impressive genes that are now gone from the gene pool because they've been so heavily persecuted. Yeah, so this is a really large animal at this point, but compared to just 100 years ago, this would have been kind of a medium-sized
Yeah, it would be nothing, really.
Yeah. Oh, so heavy. Look at the size of this snake. What an impressive creature. I mean, really. She seemed calmer now that I've picked her up, which is kind of funny.
Isn't that most girls? Once they feel safe, they're just like, I'll melt.
No, only with me. But look at the size of that snake. I mean, what an unbelievably beautiful and impressive creature. I love eastern diamondbacks. Yeah, just what a cool snake. I wish they'd come back. Maybe they will without persecution.
Okay, so you cannot come to Florida without our most iconic apex predator, of course. Which
the alligator.
These guys are little baby hatchling gators.
Oh, I see them. Oh, aren't they cute?
So you're taller than me, so I'm gonna open this up.
Okay.
They're quick little buggers.
Oh yeah, I know. This one's right here though. Come here, you.
So we have 3 hatchling gators. Their names are Macaroni, Rigatoni, and Bowtie. They're so cute,
It's just a frog with teeth. Yeah.
I've never heard them called that before.
Look at him,
but
it's
I
so
love it.
cute.
And I also love how even at this size, they're showing off for us.
Oh yeah.
Open that mouth up.
Look at the puffy. Look at the puffy. Look at the belly all puffed up. I'm tough.
You're fine, little one.
Listen, you little dino. We're trying to have a little chit chat here, okay? Oh.
It's like, now I'm gonna show off.
Oh, look how tough you are. Outside of being one of my absolute favorite animals in the world and definitely my favorite taxonomic group, there is few conservation stories as impressive as the American alligator. What was it, 400 at one time in the wild?
Yeah, something ridiculously low. 400
of these animals in the wild. You guys know, we must have seen 700 last night, And at one point in time, there were less than 400. That might be the wrong number, but it's something like that.
It was extremely low.
And and Florida protected them and set up breeding facilities and farms, and now they're back and stronger than ever, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, now they've actually extended the hunting season on gators here in Florida because the population has boomed so much that there's actually an overpopulation of them.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's just absolutely incredible.
I love how they store their fat in their tail there, like the hump. It's like a camel's hump. Like, look how chubby. This is the human equivalent of a fat baby. When you have a little fat baby with the cheeks and the rolls, that's this right here.
But then they've also got like their own fingerprint based on the scoop pattern and their stripe pattern, and that's how we tell these 3 apart is based on their scoop pattern.
I love it. Oh, okay, tough guy. Well, I'm gonna put this guy back.
Let's do it.
Oh, that's fun. Thanks, Amy.
Sure.
I cannot come to Florida without playing alligators. It's not an option.
So you remember Grayson from when we were in Charleston together?
Oh, yes.
I believe your son fell in love with her, right?
Adores her.
I mean, how can you not adore her? So
hi,
she
sweetie.
loves peanuts too.
Oh, hi. Hey, cheeky.
She says, I'll come back over.
Yeah, she will.
So,
I remember she was so affectionate.
She's a really good fox.
Yeah.
She's a very special fox. This is one of those cases where somebody was keeping her illegally as a pet.
Yeah, you can tell by her demeanor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you put her out in the wild, the first thing she's going to do is run up to someone.
Right, be like, feed me, I'm hungry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so many people don't understand animal behavior. Their first thought, rabies.
Sure,
and then
yeah.
they harm
It's going to attack
animal.
me.
Yeah,
right.
So for the foxes, there's a law in Florida. You are not allowed to own a fox without a permit.
Okay.
But you can buy one without a permit.
That makes so much sense.
So you go into these pet stores. Their objective, of course, is making money.
Yep.
You see this cute little fox
They'll
and you
sell
go,
it to you.
oh my gosh, I love it, I want it. Yeah, absolutely.
So they'll actually sell you a
Well,
fox
what
at
they
a
say
pet
is,
store?
you don't need a permit to
I'm gonna
buy
give you
it.
this.
So then your brain thinks, I don't need a permit to own it either.
Right,
You
right,
have no idea that when you walk out, you're actually breaking the law.
I'm gonna give it to you. I'm just peeling it for you so you don't run away.
She's like,
Get
oh.
you a beard. Get you a beard. Oh, yummy.
She's like, I will groom you.
It's because I'm sweaty.
Oh,
It's
totally.
so hot out.
She loves
She's
the
like,
salt.
oh, the salt. I hope you guys are seeing this. This is preposterous. Oh, I kind of love it so much.
I just love that you guys kind of match there. There's a little red, there's a little brown, there's a little gray.
I know where you're going with this. Take it easy. I'm not the spring chicken I used to be.
One of the things that I kind of take issue with social media is you will get some people who will have one of these animals that's an exceptional animal. In my brain, Grayson is an exceptional gray fox.
She's an exceptional animal.
You know,
they're usually so, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but just so people understand, they're usually so skittish, right? And neurotic. That's just shells, silly.
Very skittish, very unpredictable.
Right.
I like to consider it like a short fuse, you know? So they're all kind of playful, and then all of a sudden you see that look change in their eyes, and that wild animal comes out. I mean, but she's really an exceptional animal, and sometimes you'll have people who have these exceptional animals, and they'll really kind of broadcast it, and people get an idea that this is how all gray foxes behave.
Totally.
You know, and I've been doing wildlife now for over 20 years. She's the only gray fox, you know, that behaves this way.
I completely agree.
Even ones that have been kept as pets, you know, she's an exception to the rule. So I just don't want anybody to see this and think like, oh, I want one of those.
That's important.
You know,
for those of you watching this, that's really important. You don't get to have this cool experience. No, but it is important.
You can come to Busch Wildlife and we do VIP experiences.
That's true. And you let people meet her, right?
We do
She's one of your ambassador animals.
She's one of our ambassador animals.
That's right. I forgot about that. But she is just absolutely adorable. Anyway, look, I don't know. I cut you off because she started giving me kisses. But you were saying in the state of Florida, you can go into the pet shop, buy one because the pet shop wants to sell them. They're never like this, right? And not to mention, they peel over your house. They mark everywhere. They smell terrible. They're neurotic. They're mostly nocturnal. Like, they're not a good pet.
All of the above.
Right?
You know,
and I think that's important.
And oftentimes, too, like this is a gray fox, which is native to Florida. The red foxes were introduced by the British for fox hunts. And a lot of the red foxes that are sold on the illegal pet trade are byproducts of the fur trade.
Right.
And so a lot of people don't realize that if you're not pretty enough to make clothing, you get sold into the illegal pet trade. And so all you're doing is you're really supporting the fur campaigns and the fur trade by purchasing these animals that were taken from that because they weren't, quote, pretty enough to be turned into clothing.
Grayson, buy me a drink
first.
I
missed you so much.
She's
it's
so
been
sweet.
too long.
That was the best kisses.
Your son is going to be so jealous.
Those are the best kisses that I've got in many years. Don't let my wife hear that, but those were the best. All right, Amy, well, I absolutely love your facility, and Grayson might be my favorite part of it, but I know there's a lot of other things you want to show me still.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So next one, not really considered a predator.
Okay.
But you can't talk about predators without talking about prey animals.
Good point. Good point.
This is a large prey animal here in Florida.
Large prey animal.
We talk about predators, but you got to meet one of our prey animals.
Hi, buddy. Who's this?
This is Cypress.
He's a girl, right?
No, Cypress is a male.
I'm kidding.
It took me a second. Wow, it's too hot out today. Like, I'm like, no, it's a boy. Duh. But if you do notice, look at how odd his antlers look compared to the deer you see in the wild. That's because he's been neutered. So somebody actually was trying to keep him as a pet, neutered him, and then when they sold their house, left him behind.
What?
So imagine going and signing the papers or closing on a house, and you go to start moving in, and there's a white-tailed deer with a rack like that living in your house.
Bizarre. So obviously his antlers are bizarre, and I was going to ask you about that, but that's a hormonal imbalance from being spayed, and so it's resulted in those physical manifestations?
Absolutely. He never sheds them. They
I
stay
can
in
tell,
velvet all the time.
Hi, buddy. Oh, it's nice over here by the mist. I get it.
And he will lick you to no end.
I love it.
Like a salt lick, acts like a dog. They were one of the harder species actually to move to our new habitat. Deer easily panic, number one.
Right.
And then when they're under sedation, because they have that very unique digestive system and it stops processing, they can very quickly, what's called bloating, and bloat, and you can actually lose them. Oh, he says, I'm going to take you out. Here comes Nick, too.
They're just such prey animals,
You're in the middle of a battle royale of your own right now.
Oh, I know. I'm fighting
You got the deer who wants to knock you over, and the turkey who's like, are you going to mess with my girls? Everybody's displaying
Look at this guy. Oh, you got a lot to say, huh? For a guy with no balls, you're pretty ballsy. Well, nice to see the various forested creatures and the prey species. But there's a whole bunch of other big predators to see still, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, Kyle's in so much trouble. Tell me, get a shot of Kyle getting sized up. All birds hate Kyle.
Do they really?
They do. I don't know why.
It's a thing. You know, certain animals do pick certain people.
I think he's just a jerk, and that's why birds don't like him. I could be wrong.
I'm not saying anything. I don't want to get a bad edit. Are you ready to meet one of our largest and laziest?
Yes. Is it not me?
I didn't say that. Hi, gorgeous.
Hello.
How are you? This is Kiona, kind of like Fiona, but with a K instead of an F.
She's
she
so
is
pretty.
our Florida black bear, and she knows that ladies have to sit to get a peanut for a treat.
Look at her. Oh.
See how gentle?
So,
and if you watch, she'll shell it. She knows what to do. She shells the peanut and drops out. You want to give her one?
unreal. Oh, very much so.
So we only do what's considered protective contact. You know, these animals are all rescues. I kind of have a rule: if it weighs more than me, I don't need to go in with it.
Yeah.
And what we do is we teach a lot of things for medical behaviors. So, for instance, can I see your teeth?
Oh, get out of
Let
here.
me see. Finish your peanut. My apologies. She's like, hello, let me swallow. Let me see. Wider.
Are you seeing this? This is preposterous.
Wider.
Can you do that lip wiggle for us?
There
again?
we
my
go.
God. Can I kiss her on the nose? Yes or no?
No,
Okay.
you're not going to kiss her on the nose. I'm sorry.
I don't know if people quite comprehend how lazy bears are.
Totally.
Like, it's bananas.
Paw.
Paw.
Put your paw.
Paw. Look, you want
Come
this
on.
peanut? Paw. Come right here. Paw. Hey. No.
She says, I'll kiss you instead. But that shows you exactly why we don't go in with them.
Right, 'cause of that.
right now, everything is positive. Everything is positive reinforcement, but they're still a wild animal,
Yeah,
you know?
of
And so
course.
she's like, can I just have it?
Yeah. Oh, but she's so cute. Hi.
And that's actually one of the things that
Hi.
our keepers have been getting used to is touching her feet. So if you want, since you touched her feet, go ahead and give her the peanut that you
Okay,
have
there you
there
go.
as a reinforcer.
Look at the dexterity. I mean, it's just so gentle. My dog at home is not that gentle.
Right?
Not even close.
Neither are any of mine.
No, it's wild.
But getting her used to having her feet touched,
girl.
that way if she has a broken nail, we can treat it without upsetting her.
Good girl.
You know, if we need to put lotion on, or if we notice they're limping and we can look at the feet. These are all things that just kind of make working with them much more of a collaborative effort than
Yeah.
something we're forcing them into.
And it's such, I don't know if new school is the right way
There's
to put
some
it,
more
but
for you.
you know, the traditional method is something's wrong, pin it down, shoot it with a tranquilizer,
Absolutely.
hold it, and deal with it. And like, look at this. You don't need to do that if you have these behavioral cues that you can use to get them to abide by it. It's amazing. So tell me a little bit more about Florida black bears in general. They're not as nuisancey as out west, right? They're a little
Yeah.
shyer here.
They are.
And I think it's probably because their place in the food chain is a little bit more midline here than it is in other places.
It is. I mean, even our bears here, like so many people are so concerned about them, they eat very little meat.
Yeah.
They're really mostly,
Yeah.
I mean, they are an omnivore. They will eat meat. They will eat fruits and veggies, but
Sure.
they would definitely prefer fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds versus any kind of meat product.
Right.
You know, so people get very nervous about them. I think some of it's kind of undue hype.
Oh,
honestly.
undeniably.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just their size. They get this, reputation. But really, I mean, again, in all my time here, living
Yeah.
in Florida, I've only seen one in the wild.
Right.
And that was a call that I was called out on to go help because when I got into a neighborhood for him.
Whoa. Scared
She
me
said,
there.
you stop feeding me
You want more
peanuts.
peanuts. You made me jump there. That was kind of scary. That was kind of scary, you.
But see, it goes
And
to
that's
show you.
why you don't go in with wild
Exactly.
animals. Absolutely
Exactly,
right. Absolutely right. Hey, it's not all about you,
Here for us, rescue, rehab, release, that's
Yeah.
our number one mission. We
Right.
take in about 6,000 animals a year with the goal
6,000? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
But the second factor that we had to add into our mission was education. Because 90% of the animals, like her, it's because of people.
Yep.
There was that human-wildlife conflict.
Yep.
You look at any of our animals here that were kept illegally as pets, we're fed by humans,
Yep.
we're tangled in fishing line, we're electrocuted, we're hit by cars. There is that connection there to humans. And so for us, education has to be key. So we get about 250,000 visitors that come through to learn about these animals, and hopefully that impact then multiplies, and we'll get to a point where you won't have these kind of conflicts in the wild.
Sure.
But it's just a big project to succeed.
Love that. Well, I know you have some other big predators that you want to show me here,
Absolutely,
including a very handsome kitty. Should we head in that direction?
Let's go.
All right.
So we've actually got a training session set up for you. We've been
Okay.
talking about the Florida panther.
Big kitty.
This is the closest that we have here at Busch Wildlife. This
Okay.
is Tamala.
Oh,
And
look
Tamala
at her.
and Ingrid is one of his awesome keepers
Hi,
/
Ingrid.
trainers here. And he's technically a mountain lion.
Okay.
But panthers, pumas, mountain lions, cougars.
Cougar.
They're all the same cat, just where
He
you
knows
find
a lot
them.
about cougars, that
And
young
this
man
is-
right there.
You'll notice Ingrid does a whole thing with him. He knows to sit, he knows to lay down, he knows to show us his paws. So these are all different behaviors so that we can help examine him. Or if we need to move him, like let's say there's an emergency or something, he is target trained. So
Okay.
you'll notice he touches the target and then he gets rewarded for it.
So most people can't even get their domestic house cat to like come to them when they call them. How has Ingrid been able to get Tamala here to be so responsive to the target training?
Years of training.
Yeah.
Literally years of
Whoa.
training. So this is an important thing for us. Look at those claws though, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm good. But do you notice, if you look at his feet, see how there's some pink parts?
Sure.
That's actually scar tissue because he was caught in a forest fire.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so when he was a baby, about 5 months old, he was caught in a forest fire and he suffered severe burns to his face and his feet. He has damage to his retinas. So this is actually part of medically being able to take care of him.
Poor guy.
Is the key.
I'm sorry, scary, I know.
He's like, you're new.
I know. You don't know me yet. Don't worry, we'll be buddies soon.
But it's important. This way we can actually keep an assessment going on his feet and make sure they're still doing well and they're not having any issues without having to stress him out by darting him or anesthetizing him.
So you said he's a mountain lion and not a puma.
Yeah.
So in other words, he comes from the west.
Yes, he is found in Butte Valley, California.
California, okay.
Yeah, that was the forest fire.
That also sort of
he was
explains
found.
his size and stature a little bit,
His
right?
size, his stature,
Yeah.
and one of the things that amazes me most about him is his tail. You know, they're going to use that tail out west to navigate up mountains and cliffs and things like that, which we don't really have here in Florida.
You sure don't.
So your Florida Panthers aren't going to have that same, structure because it's not needed.
Well, and so importantly is just getting people to care about them. Everybody's so scared of big cats and big dogs, right? And it's just ridiculous. It's unwarranted fear, but this is a nice way for people to, especially watching target training like this, see that they're pretty much just a big old house kitty.
I can take you over and introduce you to Charlie, who's our other new cat that's here.
Sure.
He's another one, most likely a mountain lion,
Okay.
but he's 189 pounds.
Oh, he's a much bigger one.
Much bigger cat. He needs a little bit of a diet.
So I'm going to ask a very non-2024 appropriate question.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you ready for this?
Sure.
I know from my limited experience with big cats, some of them like women, some of them like men.
Yeah.
Right? And I know it's very non-PC. Have you got any, what do you got here?
Wouldn't you say he's more female prone?
For sure.
Yeah, and that's because a lot of his keepers. You know,
Sure.
our staff is
That's how
very
it works.
female heavy.
Yeah.
But the other guy, Charlie, he's more for the boys.
There we go. All right, Charlie's my guy.
So right now, we're in the middle of May.
Yep.
He only came here a couple months ago. He came here towards the end of March.
Okay.
So he's still kind of settling in. Not only is he getting used to his new keepers, he's getting used to Florida and this heat that we're having here.
As a California transplant myself currently, it's oppressively hot. Yeah. I don't know how Charlie's doing it.
That it is. Oh, he's sitting back there underneath his little shade spot.
Hey, buddy.
There.
Isn't it funny how lazy big predators are?
But see, look at him here.
Hey, bud. Oh, yeah, you definitely need a diet.
So it's interesting because he's new to us. We're doing the training like we did with Tamala to start target training him and such, which of course you use foods as rewards.
Sure.
But on the same token, we need him to lose weight. So it's this interesting little balance that we're working on with him right now.
Sure.
He is actually declawed on all 4 feet.
Oh, shame.
That's because he was being sold on the black market, if you will, in the illegal pet trade. So he would not be able to go back in the wild because he can't hunt at all for himself.
Nope. Aren't we lucky that even though, Florida panther nearly went extinct and the numbers are still oppressively low, aren't we lucky that we still have such magnificent animals roaming around North America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And now I've lived here my whole life. I'm a Florida native.
Yeah.
40 plus years.
20 plus years.
There you go. We'll just stick with that one.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in the wild. It's terribly, terribly rare to see them in the wild.
Right.
So for us, I would much prefer, if these cats could survive in the wild, for them to be out there. But, it's not possible when you don't have claws or when, you're so used to being around humans. And so therefore, this is just a new way for them to try to educate people and really connect people to these animals so that they want to protect them and they lose that fear.
Amy, I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
There's this whole anti-zoo, anti-captive animal movement, and I don't agree with it at all. Certain animals should never be in captivity, in my opinion, right? But just like you said, as a Florida native, and I've known you for a while, I know you spend a lot of time outside, you've never seen one in the wild. If Charlie wasn't sitting here, Tamala wasn't sitting there, all these hundreds of kids that I've seen walk through here would never get this intimate, close-up connection to this animal. And if just one out of those several thousand kids that come by here every day decides to dedicate their life to saving them, it's worth this guy being in a cage.
I would have to agree with you on
That's
that.
my opinion on that.
No,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that these animals, they wouldn't survive in the wild.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
He was most likely born in captivity.
Right.
Had his literal fingers cut off at an
Right.
early age.
Right.
He's not going to do well out there. He wouldn't do well at all.
That's my whole point.
So,
And contrary to popular belief, this is an animal in a cage is not always a sad animal. This animal has a great life.
We try our best, and that's part of the reason we do the target training with
Sure.
them. You know what I mean? It's
Sure.
enrichment for them.
Absolutely.
It keeps their mind focused, it keeps their mind moving. You know, even if it wasn't for us to do medical exams or to move them or for emergency purposes,
Yep.
it's something for them. It's skills to work on, and it keeps them engaged and it keeps their mind sharp.
Amy, it's been such a treat coming here to see your facility, the new facility. It's so beautiful, it's so immaculate, it's so well run. There's education programs, all of these amazing big predators. Thank you for all the work you're doing.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having me out.
Come back anytime.
Aw, thank you.